Hello everybody, hope you're doing really well. So standing behind me is an incredible entrance to an amazing air raid shelter. Stay with me, I think you're going to really enjoy this, and we'll talk briefly about the history of it and everything that goes with it. But obviously we've got to be very careful today. It's a permission visit, so we can't give away location, but we can give you just as much history, so hopefully you can enjoy this. So come along with me and let's take a look inside. Come on. Well, so we're inside, we've made it, and it's a beautiful, beautiful air raid shelter. Now, I want to give you the historical context before we start. So we're sort of in suburbs, technically London, I suppose we could sort of argue. And what's really interesting about this is that this would have been an air raid shelter for a private school that would have been on the site at one point. Obviously with changes and everything else, development, obviously that's now changed, and obviously with the privacy that I need to give this location, I can't say any more than that. However, this is what we'd call like a standard air raid shelter that was built to accommodate quite a few people. Now we're probably talking in the range of about 30, 40 odd people, I would say, children in this instance. What you can see at the back, if I flash my torch, is the escape hatch. We're going to take a proper sort of look in a minute. Probably built at the start of the war, 1939. And we're also going to take a look up on top. So that's your sort of history in terms of its actual context. A private school that had its own personal air raid shelter, and this is obviously what we're exploring. I'm so grateful for the owners to give me permission into this place, obviously. It's and the condition is remarkable. I had a scout out to begin with in here, obviously to check it out with one of the owners, and it's absolutely amazing to sort of see the condition. And more importantly, the ladder is in an incredible condition under the circumstances, and we'll take a look at that in a minute. So yeah, what do you think? Let's have a look, come on. Right, so, yeah, here we are. If I face you forward, you'll get to have a better perspective of this. So we've seen a similar one in Surrey that was used for factory workers. You may have seen that one in a previous video. That was filmed a long time ago, but it's the same design. Except what you'll notice on this is that this escape hatch is juxtaposed on the left hand side. Sometimes you'd see it put in the middle, but look at the condition of the ladder. More importantly, it may look rusted and corroded, but when you compare it to other air raid shelters and their escape hatches, the fact that you don't normally see them as much anymore, you don't see them in this condition, it's actually really important that we sort of understand the rarity of these. And if you look at the bottom, because of the corrosion, you can see it's almost like becomes stilted. You know, the thinness where the damp and the water's got through is absolutely remarkable. Now, if I look around, don't be scared, that's the tripod. What's really interesting here is we're not sure about this. First instinct was to sort of say that this was like a little fireplace, however it can't be. But there is definitely an unusual sort of brick part here. It looked like a chimney, but obviously it can't be. But it's amazing to see that. Not exactly sure what that could be. I mean, it's interesting how that does stick out. And I'm not sure on that one. So answers on a postcard on that. No idea on that. I'm not even sure if I've seen anything similar to that before. It does look to me though, with the eye of faith, it looks more modern, and it might have been that previous owners or somebody had decided for whatever reason to put this in here. But apart from that, I'm not exactly sure. It could have been a little toilet cubicle. I mean, it's dead straight in the centre of the shelter, but this is literally the shelter. So when we look out, you can see that obviously it's in a dog leg, and then the steps are very uneven, but that's a given because of just how worn away they've been over time of all the leaves. You can also see here the original outline for what would have been a door. I'm assuming a little door frame, I would guess. There's nothing to suggest that it's on the opposite side. If I'm looking at it, there's an indent there. So yeah, well, we could be a door frame on that. But what I'm amazed at is the actual condition of this place is really quite good. It's the other thing you'll note on this is it's quite dry. Now, sometimes you'll see them quite damp, and there's no, I'm not getting that feeling of any significant damp down here. But if we look up, normally the walls can tell us, but they're pretty much bone dry, so it's kept relatively good. And that's what makes it even more special, to be honest. The fact of how well kept this is. There we go, looking up. Absolutely amazing. So we would assume that there would have been wooden benches down here. There are little wooden flecks, and if you look quite closely, you can see little outframing lines here. There are little wooden bits here, and I'm assuming that would have been from probably the remainder of some benches. See, look, there's another little bit of wood there. All these tiny little bits of wood. Normally you can see the outline. We used to see my videos before, normally you can see the outline of benches, but in this instance, nothing to openly point out that there would be. But yeah, to serve this school, and I think what's scary about it is that in the context is that really we're in the path of where the German bombers would have been very active, and that's what really puts it into context. In fact, I was talking to one of the sort of owners, I loosely say owner, we sort of say obviously that it was in direct line of the German bombers making their way through to central London, and so this would have probably been quite an active place at one point. So you can imagine the terrified screams of the children as they run from the school. It's not even that far away in here. And it just really puts it into context. It really does. Okay, so what I think we should do now is I think we should head out, and I'm just going to show you the outline of it, and then I think we're pretty much done. Like I said, it's not the biggest air raid shelter in the world ever, but it really highlights the suburban outskirts of London and the significance of these air raid shelters and how rare they are. So let's head out. Come on. Okay, so we're outside of the air raid shelter now. You can see that all that's really here is this mound, and it's kind of crazy to sort of think that that bit of debris there is actually the escape hatch. Okay, so I'm going to end where I started. I just want to say a massive thank you to the permission of the owners, we're going to say, for allowing me access to explore this and to document it. Hopefully I gave you a nice little bit of rich history to go with it as well. It's been a true honour to document this for the channel and for the owners themselves. Hopefully you came along with me and you enjoyed it as well. It's not the most spectacular air raid shelter you're going to see ever in the world, but the purpose of this video is to highlight that these types of bunkers in suburban London on the outskirts are so vital that we don't really lose these, and if we do, we have to document them as best as possible, especially with the amount of redevelopment that is constantly going on, and soon similar shelters like this will just be constantly lost over time. So yeah, thank you so much for coming along with me. Hopefully you really enjoyed it, because history matters. Of course it really does, doesn't it? And in immortal words of Phoenix history, I'll see y'all very soon. Take care for now, everybody. Bye. Kapow.